All right. Looks like we got a few people in here. So, I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get started. But before I do, I just want to recap. And, I want to let you guys know, I want to let people know that when Tala does research, when I do research, it's very transparent. So basically, I'm a very transparent person. So if what I feel to be true is to be true, I'm going to share it. Now, the Millennial Reign of Yahshua video, notice that I didn't say that I didn't confirm that it did not happen. It was an open discussion about it possibly not happening because lack of information and misinformation being tossed around and hearsay. So when it comes to that, you need to keep digging. And another thing is, stop going off of your emotions. Don't go by entertaining your thoughts. Don't go by a theory just because you're entertained by that thought and it entertains you. I understand that, it brings joy to people and comfort. To be honest with you, Jane, it does the same for me. I was just in joy. Not just me, but my wife as well. She's in the chat. Manu, you guys can go ahead and subscribe to her as well. But we both were just extremely excited, and it's like you give everything to God, to Yahweh, the Father, and you just let the story tell itself without any barriers, and the more and more I dig, I was swaying more towards a post-millennial reign. I was swaying more towards that narrative, but the more and more I dug, the more and more I realized that it already happened. So that's what we're going to be talking about, guys. And keep in mind, this is my full-time job, guys. That is the truth. I know it may sound crazy, but I do make a little bit more money on the side, and it's coming from the government. But hey, you got to make a living somehow if you're in this matrix, right? If you're in this program. This is my full-time job. If I'm being 100% honest with you guys, if you guys can support me, please check out my merch store and support me that way, because this time I'm not going to stop. I'm going all the way. I'm going all the way. Wherever the truth is, whatever it is, I'm going to speak it, regardless of what I feel, regardless if I don't like it. Whatever the truth is, I'm going to speak it. You better believe that I will display it on this channel as soon as I get the information. So please, guys, that's the only way I can get support. And to help me make these videos is, support me through my merch store, donate through one of the what you call it, like Venmo, Cash App, or whatever. This is me just being transparent with you guys, man. Like, seriously, this is not about the money, but the truth is, I need to make a living too. I need help from you guys to make these videos even better and to push this information out as fast as I can. And quite honestly, this is not about my subs growing. I can care less about that, because if I just get 2 people to believe, if I just get 1 person to believe, that's all that matters. That is all that matters to me. So let's go ahead and get started. Sorry for the the talking, but I had to let you guys know where I'm at these days. There have been a lot of trials these past few weeks, but I'm back, guys. I'm back, and I'm here to stay. And yes, the title says what it says. The Millennial Reign Already Passed. I'm going to tell you guys right now. It already passed. If people can't see that, then either you're ignorant and you're emotional, or I don't know, whether you're trying to be smarter. There are people who are actually competitive with information, and you guys know that. There's people who are out there who are battling it out. No, I know more than you. No, don't go to that channel. He doesn't know much. I know more. It's crazy. It's ridiculous. If it's the truth, just speak it, man. Who cares about that person knowing more? At the end of the day, you're gonna die. I'm gonna die. It doesn't matter. Just speak the truth already. What more do we have to say? What more do we have to do while living on this earth? Bottom line is, we are all going to face death. That's just it. And I'll tell you this, if you haven't bowed down to Yahweh yet, to the Father, if you haven't gotten on your knees yet, you better believe that one day you will. One day you will. That is a fact. So, anyways, let's get started. Before we do, I'm going to go ahead and read some of these comments here. Praise be to Yahweh forever and ever. Yes. Jane, knowing the millennial reign already happened brings me joy and comfort. It sure does for me too. Corey, I'm in agreement after years of research. Yes. Yes. Thank you, Corey, for agreeing and for your years of research. Corey, I thought I was one of the only ones that figured it out. Nah, bro. You're not the only one, Corey. You're not the only one, man. There's a bunch of us. And the fact that I even say a bunch, at the same time, it's only a small group. It is only a small group of us who believe this theory. It is no longer a theory to me anymore. There's just too much evidence. Too much. Too much that if you do not get this, understand it, and believe it, like I said, stop going off of your emotions. Stop entertaining your thoughts. Stop trying to think you're smarter than everybody. It's ridiculous. Come on, guys. Let's get real. Be transparent. There's no reason to hide, because at the end of the day, all things will come to light. You better believe it. All knees, all tongue will confess. Every knee will bow. In the heavens, on earth, under the sea, under the earth, everything will bow down. So, come on, guys. Repent. It's doable. Trust me. It is doable. But that's a whole nother story. We got more comments coming in. I was just thinking, oh wait, let's go to Elaine or Corey. It's so obvious. Something is running a obvious script that has been run before. Yes. Yes, and it's like he's deceiving us. The enemy right now, his job during this little season is to deceive us as much as he can. And what better way than to just flip the script? What better way than to act like nothing happened? What better way than to tell us that an Armageddon is approaching us, not behind us? They don't teach us that in school. They teach us that an Armageddon, hence the movie Armageddon with Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck, they make movies like that to psychologically control us and deceive us, to make us believe that, oh, we got to build underground bunkers. We have to build underground bunkers, and, soon, one day, there's going to be an asteroid that hits us and destroys us all, and we will burn. That ain't true, guys. Stop believing in space. The Earth is flat. Come on. If you don't know that the Earth is flat by now, then, you know what? Do your own research. It's up to you. It's your life. Do your own research. But for me, for as long as I live, the truth is all that matters to me. Whatever the truth is, I will abide by, and I will tell it to the day that I die. Alright, so Elaine says, why are they maybe trying to pull off a fake rapture? Exactly. That is what me and my wife was just talking about yesterday. Literally last night. They're pushing this agenda where the vaccine could be oops. But that could be pharmakia. That could be the mark. You see how much deception there is right now? This is the little season of fear-mongering. Like, seriously, guys. They'll do anything to put fear in us and make us believe that this mark is happening now. They even put it on the news. I'm not going to show the footage, but they're making fun of pastors using reverse psychology and saying, look at these pastors. They even believe that the pharmakia is the mark. That's right, guys. That's on the news, public news. And with reverse psychology, some people will believe that it is, and some people will believe that it doesn't. The point is, it's their agenda, and they're trying to accomplish one thing, and that's deception. Sorry, I'm looking at the comments. Elaine says, why are they maybe trying to pull off a fake... All right, we read that already. Jane, I was just thanking God today for this knowledge, for it was my life's desire to find the truth. Yes. Yes. You and I both. My whole life I felt like that. I remember just the other day I spoke with my brother and we were talking about our childhood memories and the moment that we could remember when we were having an altercation with the father. And for my brother, he said, what did he say? I forgot what he said for some reason, but for me, it was, I put a piece of paper, a sticker on my balloon, and it was a heart. And my cousin was asking me, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to send this up to God. So that was my first altercation with seeking truth, wanting to know it, and as a child, as a 5-year-old, you're a believer 100%, it's not hard for you to believe that there was a God, when you're a child. So that's what I did. And I will never forget that time when I put that sticker on the balloon and I let the balloon go up. And in my mind, I'm thinking, God's going to get it. He's going to get that little letter from me. And I can't wait till he gets it. I was so excited. But I do get what you mean. Maybe that's for a different time. Yeah. How long do you think the short season will last? I'm thinking 250 years. And you know what? I said around 300. But 250 is not far off. So, yeah. I could agree with that. 1776 may have been the start of it. 1776, 250 years equals 2026. Wow, 4 years before. Exactly. I believe it like I believe if you put the letters in my name together, that's what it spells. That is funny. That's a good way to put it, Corey. Seriously. Good math. All right, so I can see there's comments coming in. I'm going to go ahead and just get started though, guys. Sorry about that. I try my best to read every comment, but we'll do that after. Let's get started here. Before I go any further, I'm going to just play this video for you guys. And just to recap, if most of you know about the Emperor Nero and those times, most of you should already know that that was the 7 years of tribulation. The 7 years of tribulation is not ahead of us. It already happened. The 7 years of tribulation happened because there will be no other time that Christians have been slaughtered by the count, by by the big numbers. Like Christians were being slaughtered left and right. Not just slaughtered, they were being tortured. The way they were being tortured, it will never be done ever again. And it has never happened in history. So let's get started. I'm going to play this video. Pause the background music real quick. And I'm going to play this real quick. And let's watch it together.
Virtually every significant historian blames the fire on Nero himself, no doubt because of what Nero decided to do afterward. He immediately commandeered huge portions of Rome's scorched earth to erect one of the biggest, most opulent palaces in all the known world. It's known as the Domus Aurea, or the Golden House. Nero was also shrewd enough to accuse a scapegoat for the fire to appease the general Roman public. The culprits of choice, the Christians, and blaming them sparked the first great outbreak of state-sponsored persecution that lasted for several years. The Christians were already somewhat of a nuisance, accused of cannibalism because they consumed the Lord's Supper, which commemorated the sacrificial body and blood of Jesus, and atheism because they refused to bow to the Roman gods, including the Caesar. So, for Nero, they were the perfect target. An ancient non-Christian Roman historian alive at the time named Tacitus mentions the persecution in his annals. This is what he wrote.
Nero falsely accused and executed with the most exquisite punishments those people called Christians, who were infamous for their abominations. The originator of the name Christ was executed as a criminal by the procurator Pontius Pilate during the reign of Tiberius, and though repressed, this destructive superstition erupted again, not only through Judea, which was the origin of this evil, but also through the city of Rome. First, those were seized who admitted their faith, and then, using the information they provided, a vast multitude were convicted, not so much for the crime of burning the city, but for hatred of the human race. And perishing, they were additionally made into sports. They were killed by dogs, by having the hides of beasts attached to them, or they were nailed to crosses or set aflame, and when the daylight passed away, they were used as nighttime lamps. Even though they were clearly guilty, people began to pity these sufferers because they were consumed not for the public good, but on account of the fierceness of one man.
One such martyr who was killed by crucifixion was a prominent apostle named Peter, who had become the head of the church in Rome. Considering himself to be unworthy to experience the same death as Jesus, Peter requested to...
Sorry guys, it looks like it blacked out a little bit there. Let me just rewind it a little bit.
For the public good, but on account because they were consumed not for the public good, but on account of the fierceness of one man.
One such martyr who was killed by crucifixion was a prominent apostle named Peter, who had become the head of the church in Rome. Considering himself to be unworthy to experience the same death as Jesus, Peter requested to be crucified upside down. Another apostle, one of Christianity's most influential because he wrote almost half of the New Testament, Paul, was also martyred during Nero's persecution. But since Paul was a Roman citizen, he was exempt from the torture of crucifixion and was beheaded instead. Nero's persecution, while bloody and unspeakably cruel, quite simply backfired. Not only was there growing sympathy for the suffering Christians, their worldview and beliefs were brought into the limelight. Countless Romans witnessed these believers endure ghastly torture rather than recant their faith in Christ as Lord and his resurrection from the dead. Christian tradition holds that, except for John, all of Jesus' apostles were executed for their faith. For many Christians, this is a strong argument for the truth of their claims. The apostles, because they were eyewitnesses, knew for certain whether Jesus' resurrection was true or false. This set them apart. History is full of people willing to die for what they believe, but it's difficult to find any sane person who will give their life for a cause they know to be fraudulent. Those who defend the Christian faith ask this question: how likely was it that a man would choose torture and death if all he had to do was simply deny a myth? So the growth of this great world religion was fueled by the blood of its saints, all because of a fire at a racetrack. And Nero, after hearing of an assassination plot, committed suicide by stabbing himself in the throat. His legacy then drifted into history, and even today he is considered to be one of Rome's worst Caesars.
You hear that, guys? One of Rome's worst Caesars. Now, if you didn't catch that yet, earlier in the video, towards the midsection of the video, it was talking about Simon Peter and Paul both being executed before the fervent heat and all that, the destruction and the melting of the buildings. Paul, because he was a Roman, he was beheaded. So he got the lesser death, if you will. Peter, on the other hand, he asked, and many scholars debate this theory, that he'd be executed upside down and tortured. That is something that is brutal, man. Like, you can imagine what they did, when they turned him upside down. But, you see, it just goes to show that there have been no other events such as this event. The time of Emperor Nero, the time of Paul's discipleship, Peter, all the disciples, all these Christians being tortured and murdered by the numbers every day. That has never happened. And many people will argue that this event here, the Holocaust, can be one of those events. But let me tell you this, even if it were true, even if the Holocaust were true, 99% of these Jews weren't Christians. They were just Jews. But there's so much speculation behind the story of the Holocaust. Many truthers are beginning to realize that Hitler wasn't who the narrative says he was. It's hard to say that he really did kill 6 million Jews when the scriptures, I believe in Matthew, let's go to the scriptures here. Matthew chapter 24, verse 21. For then there will be a great tribulation. The tribulation meaning the 7 years of tribulation. So listen, for then there will be a great tribulation, such as has not occurred since the beginning of the world. Something that has never happened before, guys. And then it says, until now, nor ever will. So something that will never happen again. Something that will never ever happen after this tribulation, after this time of Nero. You see, guys? So this event here, the Holocaust, bogus. I don't buy it, guys. I do not buy it that you can do, they say pictures speak 1,000 words. And it does, guys. All you have is pictures. That's all we have for the Holocaust. Is pictures. But there's no actual proof that 6 million Jews died. There's no actual proof. Let alone, they're not even Christian. The Bible specifically states that this will never happen to Christians ever again. So, let's continue, guys. How do you explain this phenomenon? Proof. Proof everywhere. Yeah, it sure is. They're everywhere. See what I mean, guys? Things that these scientists can't explain, but it's quite obvious, guys. By the way, this video here can be found on the channel Rising of the Moon. So, this fervent heat. Let's read 2 Peter. 2 Peter chapter 3, verses 10 through 12. But the day of the Lord will come like a thief, in which the heavens will pass away with a roar, and the elements will be destroyed with intense heat. And the earth and its works will be burned up. Since all these things are to be destroyed in this way, what sort of people ought you to be in holy conduct and godliness, looking for and hastening the coming of the day of God, because of which the heavens will be destroyed by burning, and the elements will melt with intense heat. You see that? Then the book of Psalms 46 says, the nations made an uproar. The kingdoms tottered. He raised his voice. The earth melted. What looks like melted buildings, guys? We see that. We see that right here. All these buildings melted. Melted buildings. There's no other explanation. It's right in front of our face. Right in front of our face. Now, the question is, what happened? What happened after the fervent heat? Well, this is where we go to E.T. And I appreciate her stuff. She's a great YouTuber. If you haven't already, feel free to go and subscribe. But this few words that she says sort of explains what happens during this time.
In every area of life. What immediately emerges is a society dominated by Christian ethics and virtues. The people spend their days laboring in some way for God's kingdom. The people in their mortal bodies will now live longer lifespans and bear children as normal. The new people born into the kingdom now have the choice to accept or reject Christ. While it was the golden age of human history, it was in no way perfect, as mortal mankind in its fallen state still struggled with the problem of sin. It does appear that there were conflicts along the way, the true nature of which is unclear.
That's critical right there. That people need to realize, yes, it was the age of enlightenment, but things weren't quite harmonious yet. There was still conflict, just as E.T. said. Explains Acharya. There was conflict. There were people who were still having trouble with sin. So just keep that in mind, guys.
We can see the rapid progress of the Millennial Kingdom through the general art and architecture. The kingdom ended with what are the greatest achievements during what we call the Industrial Revolution. The Millennial Kingdom stretched out across the entire earth, and that includes the founding of America from sea to shining sea.
So, if you haven't already, feel free to go watch that video, The Timeline Deception by Exploring Tartaria. Yeah, great video. She has a part 1 and part 2, but yeah. I also wanted to talk about this statue here and what it could really be. My opinion, it's since the little season happened, since it begun, this statue is to pay homage to Satan for his little reign, his so-called little season reign. You know, that's what my opinion is, but you know, you can put what you feel and think in the comments below. But anyways, guys, there's just too much evidence, man, that the millennial reign already passed. You know, so if you're someone on the fence with this and who doesn't quite believe, you know, that it passed already, then my goodness, dig deeper and, you know, don't go out for your emotions. Don't try to entertain your thoughts. Just diligently do your research. Let's go to the comments. Corey says technology was easily 5 times better. Just like everything else, it's gotten worse and smaller in time, including man. Yes, it definitely has. In fact, I think I'm going to play this other video that I recorded myself, and it's from the movie let's see, Moonfall. If you haven't seen Moonfall yet, I know that's a whole nother subject, but what you just said about technology, Corey, technology was easily 5 times better. Just like everything else, it's gotten worse and smaller in time, including man. That is definitely true. But there is a part in the movie Moonfall where I recorded. Let me see if I could share this. It's not very long. Let's see. Share window. There you go. Now listen to this, guys. Listen to this and watch what happens.
Ancestors were once a thriving civilization in a distant part of the galaxy. They were so advanced, they expanded from... Your ancestors
hear that?
were once a thriving civilization in
Read
a
the captions.
part of the galaxy. They were so advanced.
They were so
They
advanced.
expanded from... Your ancestors were once a thriving civilization in a distant part of the galaxy.
Your ancestors were a thriving civilization.
They were so...
They were so advanced. Look at that, guys. The Axis Mundi, the North Pole, Garden of Eden, right in the center of the earth, the breadth of the earth. You see? So this is also what shows that passage where it says Gog and Magog, the numbers of the sand of the sea, they will surround the camp of the saints on the breadth of the earth. My opinion, the beloved city is the North Pole, the very center of the earth. So we are living in this time, guys. This is the next great event, the next and last great event that will take place. We're in the little season, and the time of Gog and Magog is the last great event. When Satan and his enemies surround the camp of the saints, that beloved city. The beloved city being the center of the earth, guys. The North Pole. They don't make Santa Claus for no reason, guys. They don't make those movies and these holidays for no reason. It all means something. You wonder why these gifts come from the North Pole. Gifts, presents. You guys have to be present to understand these things. You have to be aware and know that the North Pole is in the middle, guys. It's directly right smack in the middle of our earth. Father is not the author of confusion. He is one who wants us to understand in the most simple way possible. Don't let man deceive you and make you think otherwise, like we're on a spinning ball, and all that crap, spinning 2,000 miles per hour, going through the galaxy a couple million miles per hour. It's ridiculous, but I digress. That's a whole nother story. But yeah, that's just to answer your question, or your statement when you said, Corey, about the technology being 5 times better. I live in New England, it's obvious. Or Manu says, it's so easy to be blinded these days, but it's pinpoint that we are in the little season of deceit, but praise Yahweh, his word is true, and I stand by that. If any questions, I now just open the word. Jane, 100%. Corey Anderson. Corey, I live in New England. It's obvious a few different things have occurred around me. Yes. Again, upside down world. Airy Pages. I saw newspapers stating 6 million Jewish deaths pre-World War I even. That 6 million figure was used several times pre-Holocaust, but it finally stuck post-Holocaust. Wow. I'm not surprised. Manu says, in school we learned about Hitler and the fall of Rome, in which I feel now was all a distraction. Yes. So I understand that the Holocaust, there's a lot of speculation behind that, but you can say the same thing for Rome. The name Rome, and there's a lot of speculation behind that too. Corey says the date, weather, history, everything is bull. Yes, it is all BS. Turkey is covered with melted cities. Manu says Matthew 24:20, because it will be a time of great trouble. Yes, the passage I explained earlier. Remember, our history books and what we have been taught in our educational systems proves a lie, and they cover up to what they've been hiding from us these very last days. Agreed with Manu. Jane, Lucifer loves to dress like a woman. Facts. Kind of the push these days. Exactly. That is definitely happening before our eyes. Why? Why let Satan out for the little season to deceive the nations? To make a choice. To have that choice, so you either choose sides. This is one thing the Father doesn't want to do to us. He doesn't want to treat us like robots. He doesn't want to force us. Okay? Would you rather be forced to do the right thing, or would you at least have the decision to make it yourself? That is how loving he is. He lets us make that decision. Think about the Statue of Liberty could be them paying homage to the enemy. Yes, loosed in a little season. So people could make the choice. Yes, people can make the choice. Corey says, my guess, God has to give every one of his creation a second chance. Yes. He obviously knows Satan is dumb. Yeah. Facts. It means something exactly. Yeah. Think about the Dark One's chance to be born again. The camp of the saints, New Jerusalem descends from heaven, but the world will be deceived to think it's an enormous alien mothership and attack it. Yeah. That's definitely the agenda right now, and the narrative they're trying to push. And fire will rain to consume the world, Gog and Magog. Yeah. East is up. Not sure what that means. UFO disclosure is part of that plan to trick people into thinking aliens are real and invasions are possible. That's how Freemasons deceive the world to attack New Jerusalem that descends from heaven. Definitely agreed. Corey says, and the people who make it through the short season are no joke. Yep. Regional dues. Again, what? Probably elaborate on that, please. But yeah, guys. Let me just play these last few clips from that movie that I recorded before I end this. There's a few that I recorded for a reason. Here's one.
Say yes, Brian.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got a lot of my own problems down here.
And the moon falling onto Earth isn't one of them? I was wrong to bring you here. I am done.
How do you plan on getting up there? You know all of our shuttles are in museums.
The Endeavor is right here in LA. Plus, the Chinese are offering their prototype moonlander. I know, it sounds completely crazy.
No, what you showed us was crazy. This is a whole other level of insane.
Ought to be right up your alley then, no?
If I do this, I'm gonna need something in return. Hey! Look what I found! Maybe we can use it as toilet paper. What? Take a look around you, man. It's worthless. Whatever.
You see that? How they just show us that money's gonna be worthless soon.
Go! Hey!
He goes and grabs money from the register.
Maybe we can use it as toilet paper.
Maybe we can use it as toilet paper.
Man. It's worthless. Whatever. Let's go.
Yeah, there's so much truth within movies, guys. I mean, I know they label movies as fictional, of course, but you gotta look at these subliminal messages. Let me just double check if I had more. Let's see.
They're like wheels or rings.
Yeah, when he said they're like wheels or rings on this scene here.
They're like wheels or rings.
See that? They're like wheels or rings. And I found that subliminal because Ezekiel's wheels. Ezekiel's vision about the wheels upon wheels.
That's a white dwarf.
The White Dwarf. check this part out.
Holy shit! Fails! So Ziggy was right.
Who is Ziggy?
A friend. His theory is that all megastructures are actually arcs.
All megastructures are actually arcs. That's crazy, guys. Yeah, man. So I hope you guys learned something from this video. And we'll talk more, man. Before I go, there's more comments though. Direct energy weapons is my guess. Right. Okay, now I see. That's what I was thinking. Attacking certain areas like around the Mediterranean, but not in England. Mountain Dew. During the Millennial Reign, procreation was still happening. I think we are the children of the tribulation who endured and reigned with Yahshua, our ancestors, before us as well. Orphan trains. Yeah. The orphan trains definitely have to do with these events. It's just hard to pinpoint where exactly did they come from. Or maybe it's just simple. Maybe they just appeared. They just literally appeared, you know? I thought the same thing too. With weapons and armor that held powers like in the movies. Yeah. I was watching Journey to the Center of the Earth. He found his seismometer, and the lightning starts raining down. Wow. Thank you. You're welcome, Corey. But yeah, guys, a few recommendations. Watch The Chronicles of Narnia again. Just watch. When I first watched that movie or the series, I watched it with a closed mind. Now I watch it with an open mind. That, Lord of the Rings, there's so many of these movies, The Hobbit, what else? Harry Potter, all these movies have very subliminal messages of these things. So do yourself a favor and go ahead and enjoy those. But I'm gonna go ahead and end it here, guys. Appreciate you guys coming and joining me on today's live. And yes, the Millennial Reign passed, guys. That's the end of the story. It's gonna stay that way. So you guys be blessed. And until next time.
And you can change it in a nick of time, even if you decide to leave the stars behind. You say one word, I say amazing. You say one word, I say amazing.